Hey, do you find yourself struggling? I want to talk about how you can use dry humor or subtle humor to really improve your overall sales results, especially when you're cold calling. Now, you don't need to be a funny comedian. Me personally, I've been in sales for over 13 years. I am not that funny of a person. I can hold a conversation, I can drop a little bit of dry humor here and there. So I think if I could do this, I'm confident that you can do it too. But before I get into the very specific takeaways that I'm going to provide for you, there's two things that we got to talk about up front. The first is I want to just kind of briefly go into my script when I open up a cold call because it actually plays into how you can use humor more effectively. So, just my scripts, and I have other videos on this on the channel, but it's pretty simple. So, if I'm calling John and he picks up, I would say, "Hi, John." Pause, let him answer, and then I would say, "Hey, it's Micah with XYZ Company." Pause again. Now, those pauses are very important because that helps you read the room, right? That helps you get a sense for what kind of mood this person is in, and you really want to be in tune with that. And that's going to help you decide if humor even makes sense or not, because you don't want to use it in every situation. That's not what I'm advocating here, right? Now, the second thing that I would say after that, if that's the person, right, and they pick up, I'd say, "Are you in charge of the insurance there, or does that roll up under someone else?" Stop again. Okay, so that's my intro. I just wanted to lay it out there for you. Whether you use something different or not, that's fine. But that intro sets up the humor opportunities that I'll talk about. All right. So the second thing that we need to talk about before the actual lines is tonality, right? And just like any good comedian, right? They get up on stage. Two people can say the same thing, and one crowd can be laughing, the other crowd can be dead silent because how you deliver and how you say it and your tonality in all things you see on the phone matter, but specifically if you're going to be trying to drop a little subtle humor, you don't want to say it super fast or in like a weird, awkward way. You want to say it in a way that is natural, right? So, all right, so let's get into this actual takeaways for you guys that you can use and implement into your cold calling. First thing is right away when they answer the phone, let's say you're calling Linda and you've already spoken with her, and now she's kind of gone silent, but you're following up. So she picks up and you kind of know it's her. And you say, and she answers, "Linda, wow, Linda, hey, it's my lucky day. You actually answered the phone. I've been trying to get a hold of you the last couple of weeks." There you have it, right? Or you could say, "Hey, Linda, it's my lucky day. I'm sorry, it's not my lucky day. Linda, it's your lucky day," right? "It's Micah over at Christensen Group." See, it's nothing crazy and it might sound a little cheesy, but believe me, I've done this several times and it worked. That specific case I'm talking about with Linda is a real person and she laughed. We talked, set a meeting, and now it's a client, right? So everything I'm sharing with you today is actually real stuff that I know works because I'm doing it. All right. So now let's get past that part and just say, "Hey, Linda," it's my normal script. Pause. "Yes, that's me." Sometimes when you pause, they'll say, "Hey, how's it going?" Right? Because it's natural human reaction. So if I say, "Hey, Linda," she answers, "Yeah, that's me." "Who's this?" "It's Micah Christensen." Pause. "Oh, hey, how's it going, Micah?" Now, if they ask that, that opens the door for another subtle opportunity for humor. And so it could sound like something like this. It's going pretty good considering my daughter woke up at 2 a.m. last night crying. How are you doing, though?" Now, I know it sounds cheesy, feels stupid maybe, but this stuff works. And if it's not your personality, don't do it. But this one, again, works really, really well, quite a bit. So, the other opportunity to add a little subtle humor is after you say their name, pause, "Yes, it's me," and then you say your name and pause. If you pick up on the fact that it's really silent, maybe awkward, I like to throw this in there sometimes. It's not very funny, but people tend to laugh at it. I don't know why. So, hey, Steve, I can see the wheels spinning in your head a bit there. We've actually never spoke before. So if you're trying to figure out who I am, you'll have no clue. We've never talked. Again, they'll chuckle. Okay, great. Thanks for helping me out, man. I didn't know. I'm telling you guys, it works really, really well. Okay. Make it your own, adopt it, but that's the framework. Okay. So that's the intro part where you can add some subtle humor. Now, in the next part of my script, are you in charge of the insurance? And they would say, yes. I'm just going to say this is a decision maker. If they're not, then this all doesn't really matter, right? But if they are, then you could say a couple different things that I like to use. One is, oh, lucky you, you get to handle the insurance on top of probably a million other things I'm sure you got to do. Now that works really well if you're calling like an HR manager or an office manager. And sometimes when you're selling insurance, these are the people that you're trying to get meetings with. They wear a ton of hats. And so that resonates with them, right? Another thing you can try is, I like this one. If they kind of say, yeah, that's me, and they kind of sound miserable, call them out on it. Say, wow, you sound absolutely thrilled about that. And you might even chuckle yourself after you say it. I do sometimes, but they'll crack up, laugh, whatever, right? Okay, and then the last one that I like to say is after they say, yes, I'm in charge of that. And then there's that awkward silence. And again, this is where that pause can really help because you kind of read the phone, right? Read the room. And I'll say, hey, don't worry, Karen, you're not in trouble at all. And I just did that yesterday, and she just started laughing for like 30 seconds. I was like, yeah, I just didn't know. I didn't know. Sometimes my employees do stupid things, get in accidents, don't tell me, even though I'm the owner of the company. And anyways, we ended up laughing about that and chatting and then set a meeting, right? So all these examples I know work because they work for me. I am not a funny person. So I have to be able to get my humor across in a quick 1-2 second sarcastic type line. So I just thought some of you guys might find this really, really helpful as you're making cold calls. So now a bonus tip I want to share with you. If you're calling cell phones, which you should be calling, if you're calling cell phones, sometimes they don't pick up and they might just hit that auto response like, hey, can't talk now. Who's this? Another opportunity, right? They pass the ball back to you. You have an opportunity to interject a little bit of sarcasm, a little bit of humor, have some fun with it. You could just say, hey, this is Micah, but that's kind of boring, So this is something I did last year. It worked really well. I've done it a few other times. And it was a large contractor, a couple hundred employees. He was the CEO. And he said, who's this? And I texted back, it's your dream come true, ... That was one text. Waited a couple. I put, it's Micah with, my insurance agency, blah, blah, blah. He laughed in the text. He said, oh, good one. You got me. I appreciate your approach. Let's chat, right? So those all work really, really well. And here's the thing though, there's no silver bullet to any of this, guys. So I say all these to say that they work, but there's gonna be times you say them and it's total silence. You don't get any laughter. It doesn't mean it doesn't work at all. But the key, I think, is it's never killed a phone call, right? So as I say these things, it's not like I'm using it as a silver bullet, but it's just a way to loosen up and to just kind of break that ice and get the conversation going. And I think if you give them a try, they'll work really, really well for you. There's one other one I forgot about that I wanted to share with you quick. And that is, if you open up your cold call, one thing you can say is, after you say their name, then your name, you could say, hey, Linda, just to shoot you totally straight, this is a cold call. We've never spoken before. I just want to be upfront with you. Now, that's not very funny in my mind. It's more of a pattern interrupt, but it's some people laugh at it. So just thought I'd share that. It popped in my head as I was doing this video. So there you have it. But anyways, that's what I got for you today. Go back, rewatch this video, try to look at your script. Is there different areas you can work in a little bit of humor? And the last thing I'll say is have fun. If you find yourself stressed trying to meet quota, I'm an insurance agent, one of the toughest sales jobs I think in America, but there's other tough sales jobs out there. But if you're an insurance agent watching this, we can get so burnt out really quickly, mentally drained, right? We get a ton of no's. Just have fun with it. It's one big game. That's all it is. When you're 80 years old looking back at this, it won't really matter, right? These are just people you're calling, and just have fun, right? Lighten it up a little bit. So, hey, if you like the video, do us a favor at the show, give us a thumbs up. Comment below. Have you tried humor at all? Let me know. Is there something that you particularly have found helpful? If so, let us know in the comments. Share with the community. Go get them.